ExamPrep.School. Montana Prepaid Legal Insurance Exam. Exam code InsMT-PrLeg78 or OPMT-PrLeg78. There are 6 practice exams in this series. This video covers Practice Exam 1. The first 20 questions are free. In this video, we will be covering the following major categories for Practice Exam 1. Montana statutes and rules pertinent to prepaid legal insurance. Prepaid legal service plan. General product knowledge, concepts, and terminology. Let's walk through the format. I'll read each question and its choices. Let's get started. Question 1. Which of the following best defines a covered service under a prepaid legal plan? A. Payment of attorney fees as they are incurred, based on hourly billing. B. Prepaid access to specified legal services under a contractual plan. C. Reimbursement of legal expenses after services are rendered. D. On-demand selection of any legal service without plan restrictions. A countdown circle appears in the top right. Once it completes, the answer is revealed. You can pause at any time if you'd like longer to think. If you'd like additional practice covering more topics, see the description for our book. The correct answer is B. The correct answer describes prepaid contractual access to specific legal services under plan terms, aligning with the definition of a covered service under a prepaid legal plan. Reason A is not correct. This option is wrong because covered services are prepaid under the plan, not billed hourly at the time of service. Reason C is not correct. This option is wrong because the plan provides services up front rather than reimbursing after services are rendered. Reason D is not correct. This option is wrong because prepaid legal plans limit coverage to specified services rather than any service on demand. Question 2. Under an individual prepaid legal plan, which legal consultation benefit is typically included? A. Unlimited in-person consultations on any legal issue. B. Representation in criminal proceedings without additional fee. C. Telephone and office consultations limited to covered matters. D. Unlimited document drafting and filing services. The correct answer is C. The correct answer identifies telephone and office consultations limited to covered matters, reflecting the typical consultation benefit scope in an individual prepaid legal plan. Reason A is not correct. This option is wrong because plans rarely provide unlimited in-person consultations on any legal issue. Reason B is not correct. This option is wrong because coverage for criminal representation is generally excluded or limited by the plan. Reason D is not correct. This option is wrong because unlimited drafting and filing is not usually included in the consultation benefit. Question 3. Under a standard individual prepaid legal plan, how many attorney consultations are typically covered per distinct legal matter? A. Unlimited consultations within plan year. B. 1 consultation plus document review. C. 2 consultations per separate matter. D. 3 consultations only if case escalates to court. The correct answer is C. Plans generally include 2 consultations per matter, allowing both an initial meeting and a follow-up session for each distinct legal issue. Reason A is not correct. This option is wrong because prepaid plans set limits on the number of consultations rather than offering unlimited access. Reason B is not correct. This option is wrong because standard plans allow more than a single consultation plus review per matter. Reason D is not correct. This option is wrong because coverage limits do not depend on case escalation to court. Question 4. A new legal matter under a prepaid legal plan is recognized when A. The member changes plan coverage during open enrollment. B. The plan's calendar year resets on renewal. C. 6 months have passed since the previous consultation. D. The legal issue involves a different subject matter or statute. The correct answer is D. A new legal matter is defined by a distinct legal issue or statute, which resets the benefit usage under the plan rather than changes in enrollment or timeframes. Reason A is not correct. This option is wrong because matter resets depend on legal issue, not enrollment periods. Reason B is not correct. This option is wrong because plan renewal resets coverage periods, not matter definitions. Reason C is not correct. This option is wrong because elapsed time since consultation does not determine a new matter. Question 5. The attorney letter benefit in an individual prepaid legal plan is intended primarily to A. Provide formal legal correspondence to assert rights or demand action. B. Reimburse court filing fees associated with letters. C. Cover costs of drafting defense briefs in litigation. D. Offer unlimited negotiation and settlement of contractual disputes. The correct answer is A. The attorney letter benefit covers preparation and sending of formal legal correspondence, such as demand or assertion letters, on behalf of the member. Reason B is not correct. This option is wrong because the benefit covers drafting letters, not reimbursement for filing fees. Reason C is not correct. This option is wrong because defense briefs are beyond the scope of a letter service benefit. Reason D is not correct. This option is wrong because negotiation and settlement services typically are not included in the letter benefit. Question 6. Natalie subscribes to an individual prepaid legal service plan that covers attorney letters for personal legal matters. She contacts the plan attorney to draft a letter on her sole proprietorship's letterhead, demanding payment from a commercial supplier. Which of the following plan exclusions most likely applies? A. A letter demanding rent payment from a tenant for personal residential lease. B. A letter requesting a neighbor cease noise disturbances at a private residence. C. A letter contesting a traffic ticket issued to the plan subscriber personally. D. A letter on business letterhead demanding payment for services of a sole proprietorship. The correct answer is D. The correct answer is the request to draft a business letter on letterhead for a sole proprietorship, because most prepaid legal plans exclude attorney letters related to business or commercial matters conducted under a company name. Reason A is not correct. Residential rent demand letters for personal housing situations are standard covered services under most plans. Reason B is not correct. Noise disturbance letters to a private neighbor are personal matters and generally covered by the attorney letter benefit. Reason C is not correct. Letters contesting traffic citations pertain to personal legal issues and are routinely included in letter writing benefits. Question 7. Under his prepaid legal service plan's document review benefit, Michael wants to know which submission qualifies as a document. He offers to submit a screenshot of a text message exchange, a photograph of a handwritten note, a scanned residential lease agreement, or a screenshot of a social media post. According to typical plan definitions, which clearly meets the document review criteria? A. Photograph of a handwritten personal note. B. Screenshot of a text message exchange. C. Scanned residential lease agreement. D. Screenshot of a social media post. The correct answer is C. The correct answer is a scanned residential lease agreement, because prepaid plan document review benefits generally cover formal written instruments such as leases, contracts, and wills, whereas informal communications like texts or social media posts do not qualify. Reason A is not correct. Handwritten personal notes lack the formal structure required by most document review definitions. Reason B is not correct. Text message exchanges are informal communications and typically fall outside the formal document review scope. Reason D is not correct. Social media post screenshots are not considered formal legal documents for review under standard plan terms. Question 8. Ethan uploads his 7-page employment contract to the online portal on Monday, December 25th, Christmas Day. His prepaid legal plan provides a 3-business day turnaround for document review, excluding the date of receipt. On which date should he expect to receive the attorney's feedback? A. Tuesday, December the 26th. B. Wednesday, December 27th. C. Friday, December 29th. D. Thursday, December 28th. The correct answer is D. The correct answer is Thursday, December 28th, because the plan begins counting business days on the next business day after the December 25th holiday. So those days are December 26th, day 1, December 27th, day 2, and December 28th, day 3. Reason A is not correct. December 26th is the first business day, but not the third required by the plan's turnaround. Reason B is not correct. December 27th is the second business day. The plan requires 3 full business days. Reason C is not correct. December 29th falls on the 4th business day, exceeding the plan's 3-day service standard. Question 9. Which of the following most accurately defines general exclusions within a prepaid legal service plan? A. Services that require additional premium payments beyond the standard fee. B. Legal matters subject to co-payments or deductibles prior to coverage. C. Services explicitly excluded from coverage under all plan categories and circumstances. D. Supplemental benefits available upon payment of a separate fee. The correct answer is C. The correct answer is that general exclusions identify services excluded from coverage under all plan provisions, ensuring certain matters like criminal defense or appeals are never covered. Reason A is not correct. This describes additional premium requirements, not exclusions that completely remove coverage for certain services. Reason B is not correct. Co-payments and deductibles are cost-sharing mechanisms, not categories of services that are excluded outright. Reason D is not correct. Supplemental benefits refer to add-on services, whereas general exclusions list services that are never covered. Question 10. A plan member requests legal representation for defense against misdemeanor shoplifting charges under their prepaid legal service plan. Based on the illegal acts exclusion, the plan should A. Provide full defense representation through trial under the plan's coverage. B. Cover attorney fees only if state law mandates appointment of counsel. C. Exclude coverage for acts that constitute a criminal offense intentionally committed. D. Limit coverage to a single court appearance with plan-appointed counsel. The correct answer is C. The correct answer is that the illegal acts exclusion prohibits coverage for intentional criminal offenses, so defense for shoplifting is excluded. Reason A is not correct. Coverage is not provided for intentionally committed criminal acts, so representation through trial would be excluded. Reason B is not correct. Coverage is not contingent on appointment mandates but is excluded entirely for illegal acts. Reason D is not correct. The plan does not offer partial coverage for intentionally committed crimes. Those matters are excluded in full. Question 11. Which of the following scenarios best illustrates a matter excluded by the frivolous act exclusion in a prepaid legal service plan? A. Requesting assistance to draft a revocable living trust and update beneficiary designations for an estate plan. B. Seeking representation to file a lawsuit claiming emotional distress from a neighbor's single loud party. C. Seeking defense representation for a felony DUI charge filed in state court. D. Seeking professional negotiation services to renew a 5-year commercial property lease agreement. The correct answer is B. The correct answer is that matters lacking reasonable legal merit, such as emotional distress claims from an isolated noisy event, are excluded under the frivolous act exclusion. Reason A is not correct. Drafting an estate planning document is a valid covered service, not a frivolous claim. Reason C is not correct. Although criminal defense may be excluded under an illegal acts exclusion, a DUI defense is not frivolous but rather a legitimate criminal matter. Reason D is not correct. Negotiation of a lease renewal is a standard covered service, not a matter lacking legal merit. Question 12. A member is charged with possession of illegal substances and requests plan-provided defense. The plan's counsel reviews the case and determines no plausible legal defense exists under current statutes. Based on the indefensible act exclusion, what should the plan's counsel do? A. Proceed with full representation at plan expense. B. Decline representation and advise the member to seek private counsel at the member's expense. C. Provide only informal legal advice but no courtroom representation. D. Refer the member to the public defender's office. The correct answer is B. The correct answer is to decline representation because the plan specifically excludes coverage for matters deemed indefensible by counsel. Other actions would violate the exclusion or create unintended plan obligations. Reason A is not correct. Proceeding with representation would conflict with the exclusion for indefensible acts. Reason C is not correct. Providing informal advice still constitutes representation that is excluded when no defense exists. Reason D is not correct. Referring to public defender services is not a plan responsibility under the exclusion. Question 13. A member sues a neighbor over property damage and the plan approves legal representation, but the member must pay court filing fees. The member submits an invoice requesting reimbursement of those fees. Under the court costs exclusion, how should the plan respond? A. Reimburse all litigation-related costs, including filing fees. B. Reimburse attorney fees but deny reimbursement of filing fees under the exclusion. C. Advance filing fees and recover them from the member later. D. Require the member to pay fees up front, then reimburse all costs after case conclusion. The correct answer is B. The correct answer is to reimburse only attorney fees and deny reimbursement for court filing fees because the exclusion expressly disallows coverage of court costs. Other responses would violate that exclusion. Reason A is not correct. Reimbursing filing fees would contradict the explicit court costs exclusion. Reason C is not correct. Advancing filing fees creates an obligation the plan is not permitted to assume under the exclusion. Reason D is not correct. Reimbursing all costs after conclusion ignores the plan's prohibition on covering court fees. Question 14. A member signs an agreement with a plan-approved attorney who requires a $2,000 retainer before beginning any work. The attorney tells the member the plan will not cover retainer fees. Under the retainer fee exclusion, what is the plan's obligation? A. Deny all representation since the retainer is unpaid. B. Advance the retainer fee on the member's behalf and recover it later. C. Cover all legal fees but require the member to pay the retainer directly. D. Negotiate with the attorney to waive the retainer fee. The correct answer is C. The correct answer is that the plan covers legal services while the member pays the retainer directly, because the exclusion bars coverage of retainer fees but does not deny representation if the member fulfills the retainer. Reason A is not correct. Denying all representation is unnecessary when the member can provide the retainer. Reason B is not correct. Advancing retainer fees conflicts with the exclusion on retainer payments. Reason D is not correct. The plan has no obligation to negotiate fee waivers under the exclusion. Question 15. What is the primary purpose of a small business prepaid legal service plan? A. To provide cost-effective access to routine legal services. B. To replace general liability insurance coverage. C. To fund high-stakes class action lawsuits. D. To insure against employee health benefit disputes. The correct answer is A. The correct answer is to provide cost-effective access to routine legal services, Because small business legal plans are designed to bundle standard legal services at fixed costs rather than replace insurance or fund large-scale litigation. Reason B is not correct. Replacing liability insurance is outside the scope, as legal plans cover services, not insurance risks. Reason C is not correct. Funding class action lawsuits exceeds the modest, routine service focus of these plans. Reason D is not correct. Employee health benefit disputes are not routine business legal matters covered by prepaid plans. Question 16. Which of the following services is most commonly included in small business prepaid legal plans? A. Contract drafting and review. B. Patent application prosecution. C. Estate tax planning. D. Regulatory compliance for large-scale mergers. The correct answer is A. The correct answer is contract drafting and review, because small business legal plans routinely include drafting and reviewing common business agreements, whereas the others involve specialized or large-scale matters that are typically excluded. Reason B is not correct. Patent prosecution is a specialized intellectual property service, usually excluded from basic plans. Reason C is not correct. Estate tax planning is a personal financial service, not a routine business legal matter. Reason D is not correct. Large-scale merger compliance is beyond the scope and complexity of small business plans. Question 17. Which type of legal matter is typically excluded from coverage under a small business prepaid legal plan? A. Patent infringement litigation. B. Trademark renewal filings. C. Debt collection assistance. D. Employment contract review. The correct answer is A. The correct answer is patent infringement litigation, because intellectual property lawsuits are generally excluded due to their high complexity and cost, while the other matters are routine services covered in standard plans. Reason B is not correct. Trademark renewal is a routine filing service typically provided under these plans. Reason C is not correct. Debt collection assistance is a common covered service in small business plans. Reason D is not correct. Employment contract review is a standard service included in most plans. Question 18. A mid-size manufacturer plans to introduce a prepaid legal services plan as a voluntary worksite product and wants employees to benefit from pre-tax payroll deductions while the company avoids financial liability. Which of the following accurately describes a common feature of these employee benefit legal plans? A. The employer typically subsidizes all employee premiums to boost participation rates. B. Employees pay premiums via payroll deduction under a Section 125 cafeteria plan, gaining pre-tax savings with no employer liability. C. Coverage automatically extends to employee dependents without additional employee cost. D. Each employee must undergo individual underwriting before coverage can become effective. The correct answer is B. The correct answer is structured to reflect that voluntary worksite legal plans are generally employee-funded through pre-tax payroll deductions under a Section 125 plan, which provides tax advantages without exposing the employer to premium risk. Reason A is not correct. Offering full premium subsidies would create employer financial liability, which contradicts the voluntary employee-funded structure. Reason C is not correct. Dependents are typically optional add-ons that require additional employee premium contributions, not automatically included without cost. Reason D is not correct. Individual underwriting is not the norm for group worksite legal plans. They rely on a master group contract rather than underwriting each participant. Question 19. An employee experiences a qualifying life status change on April 10th and submits a request on April 25th to enroll in a voluntary prepaid legal services plan offered under a Section 125 cafeteria arrangement. Under typical payroll deduction and enrollment rules, when will coverage become effective and payroll deductions commence? A. Coverage effective May 1st with deductions beginning in the May payroll. B. Coverage effective April 25th with deductions beginning in the April payroll. C. Coverage effective June 1st with deductions beginning in the June payroll. D. Coverage effective May 1st with deductions taken retroactively in the April payroll. The correct answer is A. The correct answer reflects that mid-year Section 125 election changes become effective on the first of the month following a qualifying event, and payroll deductions begin with the first payroll in that new coverage month. Reason B is not correct. Enrollment under Section 125 does not take effect immediately on the application date, but instead starts on the first day of the next month. Reason C is not correct. A 1-month delay beyond the next calendar month is not consistent with standard cafeteria plan effective date rules for qualified changes. Reason D is not correct. Retroactive payroll deductions are not permitted. Deductions begin prospectively with the first payroll after coverage effective date. Question 20. Under Montana Prepaid Legal Service Plan regulations, which of the following activities is a producer expressly prohibited from performing? A. Facilitating enrollment and premium collection for plan coverage. B. Providing general descriptive information about available legal benefits. C. Referring a prospective member to an in-network attorney for consultation. D. Interpreting state statutes to advise a consumer on coverage eligibility. The correct answer is D. This option is correct because producers may provide plan information but are forbidden from interpreting statutes or advising on legal eligibility under Montana rules. Reason A is not correct. This choice is wrong because enrolling members and collecting premiums are standard producer duties, not prohibited activities. Reason B is not correct. This choice is wrong because giving general information about benefits is permitted as long as no legal interpretation is offered. Reason C is not correct. This choice is wrong because referring consumers to attorneys is expressly allowed under the plan regulations. Enjoyed this practice test? Tap like, hit subscribe, and share it with a classmate. Got a question we should tweak? Comment below, we read them all. Find full practice exam books in the description or at ExamPrep.School.